Man, praise God it's not freezing out here for once, man.
It's actually kind of hot.
Nah, for real. It's crazy, bro. Texas weather is so unpredictable.
Better than Michigan.
Facts. 100%. I'm not complaining. I'm grateful. But yeah, man. So we on the patio. This isn't exactly Peace from the Patio. If y'all haven't checked out Peace from the Patio, it's our podcast. Check it out, please. But yeah, man. I had a couple would you rather questions to start, just to break the ice real quick.
Go ahead, shoot.
So first one is, would you rather never be able to brush your teeth again or never be able to shower again? Which dirty do you choose?
Both of them extremely trife.
Yeah, no, facts.
But I think, I think I'd rather probably choose not shower, bro.
Facts. I would say the same thing.
They ain't say nothing about taking the bath.
Yeah, okay. I bet.
Feel me?
All right, let me ask you this follow-up question. Would you rather your girl never take a shower or never brush her teeth again?
Definitely, probably. Ooh,
They both nasty.
we can't have no yuck mouth, but yeah, I don't know, bro. That's a hard one.
I ain't gonna lie, she gonna get a kiss on the cheek. She better be showering, bro. My girl got to shower. Me personally, I feel like I can make it without showering. I have to brush my teeth though. I can't. I have to brush my. But my girl, she got to shower.
Absolutely.
Kiss on the cheek.
Yuck mouth. Ooh.
Don't
smile around me.
Nah, for real.
Don't smile around me.
Don't smile. Don't laugh. Don't breathe hard. None of that.
Man, I got one for you though.
All right, go ahead.
So would you rather every traffic light you approach be green or never have to wait in line again?
So if I choose every light is green, that means I have to stay in line. If I never stay in line again, that means every light is gonna be regular or everything's gonna be red. So what I'm saying is like if I choose that every light would be green, that means I still have to stand in line.
Yes.
But if I choose to never have to stand in line again, does that mean that
every light you get to is gonna be red?
It's gonna be red? Bro, I ain't gonna lie, that'd be pissing me off. I'll stand in line because that's an opportunity to meet somebody. And it's like, I don't feel like I'd be standing in line that much. I don't know. I'd rather every light be green for sure. You?
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I can't do it.
Because, bro, I know you done seen me before, bro. If I get to a red light, I hit a quick right and hit a U-turn real quick.
Exactly.
Like, I do not like sitting at red lights at all.
I feel you. I'm impatient as heck for sure. But hey, man, this isn't our normal episode or our usual kind of setup or everything, but just to add a little bit more element of surprise for y'all out there watching, we actually got a special guest today, man. So go ahead and introduce him, man.
Yep, we got a special guest today. Don't make fun of him. He's real short. Nah, I'm just
crazy.
playing. But we got a special guest today. It's none other than my pops, Mr. Bernard Hall Jr.
Pops, slide through, bro. Let me make room for him over here. You know what I'm saying?
Big dude, big dude.
God, man, I just did leg there. I'm gonna dab you up from down here. It's all respect though. Here, man, go ahead and take this, man. Introduce yourself.
Introduce yourself.
Hey, how y'all doing out there? Bernard Hall. Actually just got in from Michigan, came down here to visit my son and my grandson, and just came hang out, see how they were doing down here, and the weather is actually beautiful. So I'm glad I'm here. It beats being in the cold weather in Michigan right now. Y'all know how that is. So I'm just glad to be here, man. Thank y'all for having me, fellas.
Absolutely. So we got a couple would you rather questions that we want you to answer now.
Okay.
So my first one, I think you heard it in the back, but would you rather never be able to brush your teeth again or never be able to shower again?
Oh, that's easy right there. Definitely, I got to be able to shower.
Really?
Let me tell you
talk
why.
to your damn.
Let me tell you why, though. Let me tell you why. It's easier for me to hide my breath from smelling like butt, but I can't hide my butt from smelling like butt.
That's valid. That's valid. That's valid.
I can
That's
hide
valid.
my breath from smelling like that, but I can't hide my butt from smelling like butt. I want to make sure that's clean. So that's easy right there.
You can't hide layers of yellow on your teeth, though.
But hey, I cannot smile. I cannot smile.
That's valid, but
I cannot. If butt smell, you cannot hide. That's coming out. Every step you take, that's seeping.
it's just a whiff.
Yeah. So I'm definitely taking a shower.
No, I feel that for sure. But your mom ain't gonna kiss you no more.
Man,
You know she ain't gonna kiss you no
that
more.
would be a problem. That would be a problem right there. Yeah. But I promise you one thing. She would rather me not smell like butt. I can tell you that.
Yeah, because your farts be
Okay.
Kevin. Yeah. Okay, so the second one. Actually, do the follow-up question.
Would you rather your woman, your wife, never take a shower again or never brush your teeth again if you had to choose for her?
She gotta take a shower, bro. She gotta take a shower. Same thing. I do not want to smell butt.
You gonna kiss her?
I can kiss her. I can deal with that. But every step you take, I don't want to smell butt.
Your mouth gonna be burning.
Hey, I ain't got a tongue kiss you. We can peck. We can lip kiss, but butt smell? I can't
That's
smell.
valid. That's valid. Okay, so the other one was: would you rather every light that you approach be green, or never have to wait in line again?
I personally, I don't want to wait in line. I don't want to have to wait in line. It's just too much time taken up in line, standing in line. You know, I could be doing other things. Lights got a certain time. You know, there's a certain amount of time you're going to wait at a light. And in a line, you could be there all day. I don't want to do that. It's too much stuff I can get accomplished in a day to be standing around in a line. So I prefer dealing with the lights.
That's valid. Hey, did you know this is a fun fact? Shout out to my brother Luis Paz. He the one that gave me this information. So the light's timer is based off the speed limit.
Really?
If it's 45 miles per hour, that light gonna take 4.5 seconds to change colors.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't know that, but I did it, and it is actually valid.
Wow.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense because the faster you're going, then probably the longer time it needs to be on yellow or change to red because people are going to take longer to slow down. That makes sense. That's crazy. Fun fact out there. Shout out to the fun fact. Shout out Louis. But yeah, a little bit of a transition, man. I want to utilize the fact that we got a special guest. We got some wisdom. We got a little bit of some gray hair / no hair, you know what I'm saying, on the podcast. So no disrespect, but for me personally, I really love hanging around with guys that are older than me. I'll say more mature than me. I love learning. My father, personally, he taught me to always be a man that is obsessed with learning and always be a student because that's where real wisdom and growth comes from. So I have a couple questions. As a young guy, I'm trying to navigate through manhood. I'm 23, about to be 24 real soon, basically both the same age. My first question to you would be, what kind of differences do you see nowadays in the way you grew up versus how you see other young guys growing up today?
Well, man, you know, when I grew up, we can start a lot of different places, and you can see differences in several different areas. When I was growing up as a young man, I'm gonna just start here. You know, I see me growing up. I had my dad. My dad was around. He worked a lot, you know, but he was still available. Let me say it that way. He was still available. So if there were questions and concerns that I had, I could go to my dad and I could ask him questions. I can share my heart. I can share my concerns with him. And he was available to answer and to address those issues, per se. Me seeing younger men today, and I mean the younger generation, guys younger than you all, you know, they don't have access to that like they used to back in the day. They don't have access to that. And I think that is one of the biggest things, or the biggest things that are lacking in a home today, is they don't have access to that right now need for information, that right now need to vent and for somebody to relate to. They don't have that, and I think that is an issue, especially in our culture, dealing with the black man. You know, that's something that's lacking, man, and that's one thing that I see. One big major thing that I see is that's lacking. I mean, we can go on and on, but that's just one of the biggest things that stick out, though, is that access to having someone, to that resource to tap into when I need information, when I need to vent, when I need to know. Having that, I'll tell you what, one thing they do have that we didn't have, which actually could work to their advantage, is the internet. You know, things like that. That could actually work to your advantage if you got someone to show you how to utilize those resources. And so that is, you know, looking at it that way, they do have, you know, that I didn't have. But again, I had that one-on-one, that hands-on. And I think that's definitely much more needed than trying to figure it out with a monitor and a keypad.
That's valid. So with that being said, where do you think in the generations that it went wrong as far as like men wanting to take care of their kids?
Where do I think it went wrong?
Yeah. I'm gonna share my perspective after you finish. Or if
No, go ahead. Yeah, break it over. You give me a better idea of where you...
So like from what I've experienced, like obviously I have my dad in the house. I have my grandfather when he was alive as well. But what I've experienced, well, what I've like learned through experiences is that like, so my great grandfather, he's what, 96?
Yep.
96 years old, right? So when they was born and growing up, all they knew was marriage, have kids, the women stay home, take care of the kids, the man go to work, right? That's all they knew. My grandma, my dad's mom, they rebelled against that, right? Their generation rebelled against that completely. Like the women wanted to do stuff that the men's was doing. The men wanted to do stuff the women was doing. It was just a lot of stuff that was going on out there that just wasn't like moral, you know? So that's kind of where I feel like it was a shift in it. Cause like towards y'all generation, y'all had y'all grandparents like raising y'all more than y'all parents actually were.
True.
You know? So, and that being said, as y'all start having kids, right? So y'all start having kids and y'all tried to bring that back, that the family morals back to like, okay, this is what a mother and father relationship look like. This is what a healthy mother and father relationship look like. This is what it looks like to take care of your kids. We gonna model it after our grandparents, which is y'all great grandparents. We gonna model it after them and show y'all what it looks like to have a secure family.
Yeah.
And then it bounced back to our generation. We kind of rebelled against that. Not me personally, but a lot of people around my age kind of rebelled back to what like Nana and them was doing, rebelling against the family morals because it's like, oh, I'm too young, blah, 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 blah. I don't have to take care of my kid right now. I got my mom and them to do it. I got my mom and them to watch it and everything. So where do you think that went wrong in that?
Well, I'm going to tell you, man, when I look at my grandfather, you know, and you got to understand, I came up, my family was a religious family. And my grandfather, they just believed in scripture. What they believed, how they believed the scripture was that the man's job was to go out and he was to work, and then the women were to stay home and they took care of the house. And that they, you know, that's what they held to. I guess what I'm saying is God was number one in their families. He was the forefront. That was number one. And you know, and I just got to keep it real because you know how I was in the home. When you remove that, then now you start to see things shift, you know? So, and I think, you know, that's back, even, you know, my grandfather's generation, you seen more of those families, you know, if we even look at the attendance, church attendance back then versus now, there were more families as a whole attending church. There were more families that would, you know, get up on Sunday mornings and they would go to church and they'd be there as a family. And if the dad was working, the mom would have the children and they would go. So I guess what I'm saying is God was always number one in their families. So, you know, seeing how things are now, when you take that out of the equation, man, what do you think is going to happen when you were designed and made to be a certain way, and then you take that out of the equation? What do you think is going to happen? You know what I mean? It can't work if you take what's supposed to be in place and you shift it and you alter it. It's definitely going to mess up.
Man, that's good. I just want to add some quick in here. I heard this quote one time. I'm probably going to misquote it, but to my best understanding, hard times create hard men. Hard men create easy times. Easy times create soft men. Soft men create hard times. And then it repeats. So like with that, one of the biggest things that I had growing up was that my parents always reminded me where they came from. My family were immigrants. We moved here from Haiti. My mom got in a really bad accident when she was about 20 years old. She had a twin brother. Her twin brother actually passed away in that accident. And she had to get a surgery, and one of her legs is now shorter than the other. So I remember as a kid growing up, when I would misbehave, she would always pull up like her pants and be like, hey, you see the scar? Like, my brother's not here. Your uncle, he's not here right now. You're my twin brother. It's like, you have an opportunity that he wasn't afforded. Like, remember that. And my dad would always tell me different things. Like, he had to skip years of high school to work for himself, to survive in Haiti and everything, to make it out of Haiti, to come to America. And like, man, like not even climbing up the ladder, like completely jumping it to where he is. And like, my parents created easy times for me. So like in my head, I was always like, man, I want to make sure that I don't take that and squander it. I don't want to become privileged and everything. Yeah. But that quote really hit my mind right there when you were saying that. And I think that a lot of us growing up, especially as men, we don't really realize how much of an impact our parents have on us, specifically men to their fathers and women to their mothers. My father always tells me, hey, as you become a man and as you become a father, what the father does in moderation, the kids will do in exaggeration. So it really matters. Like my parents never, I can't remember one time they missed a Sunday, even now. You know what I'm saying? Like Sunday church going and everything. And like they did that so heavy. Like I ain't gonna lie, I'm not as faithful as them. There are Sundays that I have missed and everything, but it's always in my head like, oh no,
Yeah.
I gotta get to church. You know what I'm saying? Versus someone if like their parents never went to church, their kids are not gonna go at all. They're not even gonna bat an eye at it. So I think I fully agree with what you're saying, and it reminds me of some things that I was taught growing up. And like I said, you know, what the parents do in moderation, the kids are doing exaggeration. So I think it's really important as we're moving from generation to generation, like right now, our specific generation, Gen Z, like what are the things that we're passing on? Even those little things, like I watch your son all the time, like always looking up to you, following what you do. The littlest things, like you get on the phone, next thing you know, he over there, he don't even know what a phone is. He don't even know how to talk. He grabbing it, putting it up to his ear, talking. He gonna mimic what you're doing, you know what I'm saying? So that's really important. But that's dope to hear from like an authentic like father's perspective, like your mindset behind that. I think that's really dope, but yeah.
See, another thing, men, you know, like going back to my grandfather and even my dad, men wanted to take care of their families. You know, it wasn't a thought. In the morning you woke up, that alarm clock went off. Man, they knew one thing. It's time for me to go. I don't care how I felt. I don't care what happened last night. I don't care how much sleep I got. It's time for me to go. Why? Because I got a responsibility. And it's everybody else that's asleep right now. That's my responsibility. So as bad as I want to stay in this bed, my body's aching. I'm sick. I got this cold. I can't. Why? Because this responsibility. I have this responsibility. I have this wife. I have these children. That is my responsibility. I have to make sure at the end of the day, they have food, these bills paid. You know, they got clothes for school. That is my responsibility as a man. That's how they thought. And that I'm so grateful for my grandfather. I'm so grateful for my dad because they instilled that in me. You know, it was times, man, I'm gonna tell you, listen, I want to stay in that bed too. But I knew one thing. It was 4 other individuals and we had a dog. So now there's 4 individuals and an animal that's now depending on me to get up and go punch a clock. And when I grasped that right there, nothing else mattered. You know, the aches and pains that I was having, it didn't matter. I'm not here for me. I'm here for them. And I think that's a lot of what we're not seeing today with males or with families now is more of it's more about them for themselves and not looking for the individuals that are looking to them. You know, I don't feel like it today. I had a long night, so I'm gonna sit this one out and not looking at little JoJo over there. Little JoJo, he depending on you getting up going to work. But I'm so stuck on myself, little JoJo gonna have to wait. Nah, man, them older guys, you know, them grandfathers and those older dads, they didn't care about how they felt. My family depended on me. So I'm grateful that they instilled that in me because I was like that with my family. And I'm looking at my son today, you know, and I see those characteristics instilled in him too. So
I feel like that's one of the biggest things I learned from watching my dad, my grandpa, is that like no matter what, your family gonna come first, no matter what. And it's like me having a son now, I'm not married, not yet, but me having a son, it's like, man, I be trying to do everything I possibly can to make sure my son never goes without missing a meal, never goes without clothes, diapers, shoot, you know, just the things he needs to survive right now. And like I like how he said he had a dog. I got 2. You know what I'm saying? So like the food is double. Everything is just double, you know what I'm saying? And I got a son and I got a girl I gotta take care of. Yeah. Plus I'm paying the bills on this house. And it's like, if I even slack for one day, that's setting my son and my dog and all them back, you know? And it's me like being like he said, it's selfish. It's selfish. Me taking care, like, you know me, bro. I don't sleep. Last night I went to sleep at 3:30, got up at 4, went to the gym at 4:30. You know, so it's just an amount of sacrifice. Like, what are you willing to do to make sure your family is straight so you can set up generational wealth so your family never wants again?
Man, that's what's up.
And I'm willing to do. Me personally, I'm willing to do whatever. Like, I feel like it's a lot of dudes out there right now around our age that don't got that. They just don't click. Like, I had a dude I was working with. He literally told me, like, so he has 2 kids. He has a daughter and a son. He has 2 kids. Don't see him no more. Nothing. But you know what he got at the crib? 2 micro bullies. And they just had a litter of puppies, 12 of them. And I told this, we had a whole conversation at lunch. Like, I had to stop messing with him. I couldn't even work in the section with him no more because it was just like, irritating. It was just like irking my, like they say out there, irking my nerves. And like, it was just the simple fact that I asked him why he couldn't see, like why he don't see his kids and everything. I asked him why he couldn't see his kids. And he was like, oh, I just don't want to. And I was like, what? Like, what do you mean you don't want to, bro? And he was like, yeah, bro, it's just too much right now, bro. And I was like, how old are they? And he was like, they twins, they 6 months. And I was like, what do you mean it's too much? He's like, oh man, they be crying, they be pooping on themselves. They just do this and this and this. Like, you never know what they want, but they just keep going. And I can't deal with it. And I was like, all right, bro, like, I had to put it into a perspective to where he understood. Because I think that's a thing nowadays too, is young men our age don't understand. They don't understand fully. But I had to put it into a perspective to where he understood. And I was like, what do you have at home right now? And he was like, I got my dogs. I was like, all right, pause. How many dogs you got? He was like, I got 2, but they just had 12 puppies. So I got 14. I was like, all right, you got 14 puppies. How do you know when your dogs got to go outside? What do they do? He was like, they whine, they bark. I was like, okay, all right. How do you know when your dog's hungry? He said, they whine or they bark or they go to their bowl and like play with it, trying to like signal me that they're hungry. I was like, okay. What do babies do when they're hungry? He was like, cry. What do babies do when they're uncomfortable? He was like, cry. I was like, same thing goes for like when they got a wet diaper, they got poop in their diaper and everything, and it's irritating them. They cry. They can't communicate those things. You know what I mean? But what do? Train them up, right? You train your dogs up. So they got to go outside. They finna go to the door and wait for you to get there, Oh, they hungry. They finna go grab their bowl, come bring it to you, whatever. Oh, what do you do with your kids? You train them up. Potty train, next step, you know what I mean? So it's like I had to put it in perspective for him to understand because he couldn't grasp the concept of my dogs are just like my kids, but this is a human and this is an animal. He couldn't grasp that concept. But after I had that conversation with him, he was like, yo, I'm tripping. I got to go get my family back. But it was too late. His baby mama already moved on with another dude.
Wow.
He was sick just because he didn't understand that it was the same thing. So, no, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, so it's like a lack of understanding with males our age. I feel like that's what it is. With not all of them, but some of them.
And in order to get something like that, though, you have to be in a situation, you have to be in a position to receive. You know what I'm saying? Well, everything you just said and that you were given to him, so he placed himself, or he was in a situation or position to receive what you just get. Most of these young guys out here now, they're not in a position to receive that kind of information. You could, if you're not set up to receive that, then how sometimes, I look at these guys and then I blame them for how they are. And then I say, wow, man, maybe it ain't their fault. The reason that they're like that, maybe they weren't in a position to receive that. Because if you're not in a position to receive it, then I can't get it. I'll never learn it. Now I can't apply it, if that makes sense. So, but even to the people out there that's viewing, just because you didn't have like the example to show you then so you can receive it, man, you can place yourself in order. Sometimes you got to surround yourself, put yourself in a place where you're surrounded by these kind of people, where you can get this information to make yourself a better father, a better parent. Because I'm going to be honest with you, parenting isn't easy. That's sometimes one of the hardest things. And talk about responsibility, man, sometimes you want to run from that. It's easier. Watch this. This sounds crazy, but it's easier to run from it than it is to stand there and deal with it. Now, it might not feel like it might feel horrible. It might feel like it's the worst thing in the world, but sometimes it's easier to run from it than it is to stand there and deal with it. Now, that sounds horrible. But look at society, man. Look at it. Guys do it all the time. They run off and just abandon their families, abandon their children. See, my son you just said it. Look, the guy just say, man, about what are his children. It was almost like he didn't even want to have anything to do with them. He didn't even care. You know what I mean? So, that responsibility is not easy. It's not easy. That's work. And guess what? That's a process. And that's something that's a continuation. That's something that's going, as long as you got children, that's something you're going to forever be working on. But you as that, the individual have to, I say, put your big man drawers on, step up and say, hey, I'm going to do this. This is mine. I did this. I did this. So this is my responsibility. So with this, I have to do something about it. I have to make things happen. No matter what that looks like, I got to do it because I did this. So, but no, it is not easy. It's a challenge. But am I willing to step up to that challenge? That's where men are. That's where you find men. Those that'll step up to the challenge and will step out there not knowing what's going to happen, not knowing what the outcomes are going to be, but I'm going to step out there and I'm going to do it. Why? Because this is mine. I did this. And no matter how hard it is, at the end of the day, if I fail 10, 20 times, it's still mine. What am I going to do about it? So, and that was one of the things, I said, because I failed. I couldn't tell you how many times I failed. I failed quite a bit. But when I failed, all I could see is them 3 kids and that beautiful woman of mine. That's still mine at the end of the day. I got to get up and dust myself off, man, because they depending on me. And if I give up because of this one fall, man, I'm messing up generations that follow off of one fall. And guys do it all the time, off of one fall, instead of saying, man, let me take this as a learning opportunity. Let me allow this to make me into a better individual. Now I'm going to take this, and not only that, I'm going to use this, because my sons will tell you my mistakes. I didn't hide them. I didn't try to conceal them. But I exposed them. I let my son see my mess ups, and I talk to them about it. That way, they'll know how to maneuver and avoid those same situations when it approaches them. A lot of parents want to hide their wrongs and their mistakes from their kids. Not me, because I don't want them to make them the same mistakes. So let's talk about it. This is what Dad did. This is the wrong Dad did, and I'm telling you this because I don't want you to do it. So, and I did that. They'll tell you, I did that openly, transparently. I was transparent about that stuff. Not hide nothing, because I care about the generations to follow. I want them to learn, take that, pass it on to my grandson. He passed it on to his sons, and, to keep it going, because that's where you see growth. That's where you see us, that family, that those trees prospering and being strong, rooted trees. When we can learn from each other, grow from our mistakes. Cause ain't no perfect trees, man. Those, if they trees and they standing, you better believe them trees done been through some things. So, that, my bad.
No, you good. No worries. I got 2 questions for both of y'all, right? So I'm gonna ask you first. What are some things that I do right now with my son that you feel like you can learn from? So when you have a kid, you can, I don't know if alter is the right word, but that you can teach your son by looking at, by witnessing what I'm doing with mine. Wait, I got to re-say that. I'm catching. Okay. So, yeah, what are some things that you can learn, that you picked up from me that I do with my son that you can teach your kids one day when you have them?
I don't know if I would use the word like teach my kids, but something that I'm definitely do with my kids. Quality time is huge. Something I've always realized about you. I remember, like, even when we first met, we would be sitting there, and then out of nowhere, you get a call, and it'd be like 7, 8 members of your family just on a FaceTime group call. I didn't even know you could do group FaceTimes on your phone, you know what I'm saying? And it didn't matter where we was, like, you'd pick up. Sometimes you wouldn't even, like, say anything, but just, like, I think you always made an effort to show what matters to you, where your priorities were, and quality time. Like, no matter what we're doing in the day, no matter where our to-do list is with our businesses, you always make time for your son and for your woman as well. And I think that's something that I kind of had a construed look at growing up. Yeah, I'm not going to go into detail about that, but that's definitely what I would say.
Yeah.
Real quick, I'm glad you didn't take that up from me, because me growing up with you all, I worked all the time. There's a lot of times I missed things in the home too. So I'm glad that you didn't pick that up from me. You did differently than I did. You spend more time in the home with your son. I wish I could have did with you, Jeff, with you, Cameron, and Delisha, what you doing with Ace. Now I think I did, later I did, I was there more, but I wish I could do what you're doing with Ace at his age. I wish I could have did that with you all. So, and I see that, in you. I'm saying, every time I look at you, I'm like, man, I'm glad he didn't pick that up from me, because, man, I worked so much. I missed out on a lot of things, but thank God he didn't get that from me. So kudos, son.
I appreciate that. I feel like you just answered my question that I was going to ask you. Yeah, you definitely answered my question that I was going to ask you with just that statement right there. He didn't even know what I was going to ask him. I really enjoyed this conversation tonight. Really dope.
Yeah, feel free to give your closing remarks, man. Myself, I'm more than grateful for the time that we've had. And like, I 100% know this isn't going to be the last time. So I'm just looking forward to the next time we sit down and have more conversations like this. So appreciate you.
Oh, for sure, man. Hey, man, appreciate y'all, man. I'm proud of y'all, man, doing what y'all do. You all are lights and examples to other young men your age that, you know, you showing other guys, hey, man, we might not do it in the factory, or we might not do it, you know, in a business office per se, but this is how we do it. And there's more ways to do it. And we doing it a legitimate way. When we're handling it, we're getting it done. And I tell y'all this all the time, man, y'all doing it. So I'm proud of y'all, man. When I see young guys doing it like y'all doing it, you all are making your dreams happen. Some of us wish we had just jumped out there like that. And that's what faith is. Just jumping out there. I don't see it, but this is what I want to do. I believe in myself. I believe I have what it takes to do it. I'm just going to jump off and do it. Some of us weren't that brave. We wish, looking at you all, man, I say it all the time. I love music, and I know God has gifted me with the talent that that could have been my career, but I wasn't brave enough. And I maybe because it's what I've seen with my grandfather and my dad, and because that's what they did, and that, you know, I allowed that to write my future, and that's not what we want to do, man. We got our own path to take, and if we allow somebody else's life, that does not supposed to define who we are, or it because what it does, it minimizes what I could potentially be. I'm proud of y'all, man. I'm proud of y'all. Jeff, you didn't allow what you seen me do minimize your potential. I'm proud of you, man. Proud of y'all. Y'all keep doing what y'all doing, man, because a lot of guys that's coming along need to see that. They need to see, man, I can get it, and I can follow my dreams, and I can do it. I just got to be consistent, persistent, and keep moving forward.
Yeah. So there you have it. Another couch talk. It's your boy Buddha, Paul, my pops. We out.